I was in India once, and I was traveling around with my buddies, but the problem was I had signed up ahead of time for this excursion. And ahead of time, I had made this plan. I'm gonna do this excursion. Look, I'll get to see the Taj Mahal, ride a bunch of elephants, you know, and I'll get the India thing, I'll get the pictures, come back and impress people, right? So it was exactly what people would expect a trip to India to look like when they don't live in India. And the problem was when I got there, I was there with my buddies, and what I really wanted to do was just travel around, hitchhike, and have an experience that was, you know, authentic, and follow our intuition, follow our hearts, let the universe decide what the journey was gonna be. And so I had to swallow a ton of pride. I already dropped a couple $100 on this excursion to do this thing that I thought I was supposed to do, and it might have even been almost $1,000. And I just swallowed my pride and just didn't go. I couldn't get a refund, so I just didn't go. And my buddies and I just had a fantastic experience. Hitchhiked from Kochi to Goa and Pune and back to Kochi. Just incredible. And along the way, one of my buddies asked me, like, Joe, how does that feel? Like, you sure you don't want to go on those excursions? Get like an all-expense prepaid trip to the Taj Mahal and stuff. And I'm like, you know, sometimes you give really good advice, you don't know where it comes from, but something came through me and I'm like, never let a bad investment get in the way of a good opportunity. And to this day, my own advice has clung really important to me. And that was like 4 years ago. And to this day, that advice still rings true. And so fast forward to just yesterday, I was on the phone with a good buddy of mine, and he was telling me how he works at a major Fortune 500 company, a place where everybody in the world would say, wow, as soon as they saw his resume or heard him talk about his job. But he's not fulfilled. He's like roughly my age, so it's not the end of the world yet, but he was telling me how he was in a meeting with like his boss's bosses, you know, like the elite that run one of these major Fortune 500 companies, or, you know, thereabouts, maybe a step away from that. All these guys had literally not been home in weeks. And when they did, it was like for 4 hours to sleep and then come right on back. And my buddy's like, how in God's name are you doing this? Like, physically how? And they're like, oh, well, I'm just running off a Red Bull, I guess. Just grinding, you know, just grinding. And my buddy's like, what the hell? Meanwhile, to connect with each other around the water cooler and pouring coffee, they're laughing, wondering how their wives haven't divorced them yet. Like expecting the divorce papers to come soon. And my buddy's talking to me, he's like, what is this? Like, these people are running a major department of a Fortune 500 company. And that's not the only company that is like that. And of course not, I don't want to make some like 1% hate them all kind of thing going on here, but there is definitely a path to what society recommends that is just so, from the outside, you look at it and it's just so freaking insane. It is just so absolutely not what anybody's heart would want. Like to expect a divorce, live off Red Bull, never be home and work on something your heart doesn't want because there's money, but you're never home to spend the money. You're not even allowed to travel, and when you do, you have to have your work laptop up the whole time. Like, what the hell bullshit is that? Why not decide a different path for your life? Well, the answer is it has a lot to do with the same force that made me almost go on that guided tour. And of course, like a guided tour of Jaipur and seeing the Taj Mahal is not the end of the world. It's just an example to explain the concept. But whenever we get stuck in the momentum of a bad investment, it's so easy to miss all of the opportunities in our life. And then as you let that snowball through your life, as you let that momentum of the bad investment snowball through your life, it becomes that much harder to swallow your pride and move backwards. When I started this journey, I had an engineering degree and I was delivering food for DoorDash. You know how much pride that took to swallow? I'd be standing in line at Buffalo Wild Wings, like on the verge of tears, just like holding my winter jacket, freezing and not knowing how I'm gonna pay rent, even though I'm spending my evening doing this, but I was doing it so that in the morning I can meditate and make a video and just take one more step in the direction of my dreams. And there's people that have, you know, much more, like I'd leaped, you know, and the finances were like, I don't know what the heck is going on. There's people with a lot of financial wherewithal. And so the only thing that's in your way is your mind. It's your mind, it's your belief of what you're supposed to be doing because somebody else told you what you're supposed to succeed at. And then you get so good at what you're supposed to do that in order to survive on the supposed to path, you continue to not honor yourself. You continue to people please, or if that's not what it feels like to you, you continue to just do what the world expects of you to do, which is still just people pleasing. You're just pleasing the expectations of others instead of following the heart song of your own truth. And so I invite you, if that's you, or if you know of anybody who's going through something similar to that, just take steps deeper into your heart. Whatever it is, like, it's gonna feel crazy and bold and wild, and you're not gonna know why you're being called to do something random. That same buddy is in the process of starting, like, he's working as an engineer for one of these Fortune 500 companies, and he's also in the process of starting an amazing idea of interviewing like elder folks, so like people in nursing homes and people in retirement communities, or just like sitting on the front porches, interviewing them and then giving them a platform for their wisdom to share with the world, so that we can teach a little bit more of the wisdom of people who've been through all of it, and now they're sitting back just watching people sprint through life on their phones and stuff. And so they can take a step back and teach what those people have already learned. And I think it's absolutely a miraculous idea. But it's not something like he ever read in a textbook. God knows when you study engineering, they don't teach you to start a company like that. All creativity starts in the heart. But the heart doesn't have a chance when you're sprinting through life mind first. So just slow down. Just slow down, especially if you're in a situation where you've got a ton of that momentum going. Slow down, because there's life out here, there's oxygen out here, there's freedom out here. And you need all those things to start laying the building blocks of love. You need to be fulfilled before you can be a light of joy for other people. Don't expect to live a life that you hate and make the world a better place. It will never work. Communist China and like Soviet Russia tried the same thing. It doesn't work. You just end up, like, on the big scale, murdering millions and millions of people. On the small scale, you just end up miserable and teaching other people misery. Another great example of that is if you think that you're going to do what you hate to do so that someday you'll turn around and give back, how are you going to give back? You're going to teach people the same journey that poisoned your life. So that is still a mind process. You see, like, the first way of doing it is like, I'm going to get rich no matter what. Of course, that's not the most ideal way for society. The second way is like, I'm going to get rich, I'll try to be good in the process, I don't really love this, but then someday I'll do what's good for the world. Number one, you don't know when you're gonna die. Number two, you can only teach people your own experience. Authentically. You can only teach people your own experience. And so when you get to the point where you're finally gonna give back, start a charity, whatever, you're gonna teach people to do something that makes them hate their life too. So right now is your only opportunity. There's no way around it. Right now is your only opportunity to live the life of your dreams, to step into your heart, to do something that really freaking matters for the whole world. And if you already have momentum doing something, you don't have to swallow all of that pride, because you've got a lot of skills, a lot of ability. You're already a high achiever. You're already moving in the direction of a version of your dreams, but now you can make it a little bit more real. Now you can make it a little bit more you. Now you can bring your soul into it instead of just your pocketbook. It's a great opportunity for all of us. So remember, hopefully that story of me being in India brings value to you, but never get so caught up in a bad investment that you miss a good opportunity. Right now is a great opportunity for you to bring your heart, your authentic story, your truth into the distant whisper in the back of your mind that is what you've always wanted to do. Have courage, my friend. Have courage. It will all work out. All you have to do is follow through.